This should be needless to say, but all views, opinions, expressions, and curse words represent solely those of the douchebag stating them, and does not represent Mike and Adam's employers, family, churches, congressmen or women, dogs, cats, guinea pigs, wives, or child. None of this should be taken seriously, and if you do, we appreciate your concern, but not really, and really cannot and will not change anything about our process. Sorry, Mom. Welcome to The Skinny with Mike and Adam. Two well-informed adolescent men in search of an audience.
I don't know, Adam. What did happen last week?
I think it was our a security breach at your compound.
Oh, yes.
One of your slaves got loose, stole our microphones, and went running down the street with them, trying to escape again.
Is that your story? You're sticking to it?
That's the story. I mean, you were there. Remember? We were both at your...
It was an emergency, national security threat. Yes.
Yes. So we didn't end up having our microphones, and we weren't able to record.
Okay.
But as you could tell, our fans...
the outrage.
They were so angry.
We got petition after petition. So let's see if we let's see if we can remember how to do this now. Hey, Adam, welcome back. Welcome back to The Skinny with Mike and Adam.
We're back, finally.
Yay. Yeah, it really feels like it's been a long time. I don't know why. It's only been a week.
It's been 2 weeks.
Well, 2 weeks since our last episode. But
yeah, and we had a whole show planned out last week, and it just didn't happen.
Yeah, well, we got a little bit of a break because most of those stories are going to be recycled.
I know. There wasn't too much going on. I don't think I even found anything interesting to talk about this week.
Well, a couple important stories. But, some of these stories, are a couple weeks old. Well, they're important enough to where we can bring it up again. So, before we start, if you guys enjoy our show, and we're coming up to episode 20 as well. And just like I said for episode 10, which nobody listened to, by the way. But, we want to do like a big Q&A episode one day. So an episode 20 might be the perfect chance to do that. So if you please submit your questions, your comments, your show topics via any outlet. Better be on Facebook on www.facebook.com/theskinny with Mike and Adam, or our YouTube page by searching for username theskinnyofficial, or our official blogspot page at theskinnywithmikeandadam.blogspot.com. Please help spread the word about our show and feel free to interact in any way you can.
We're still rocking the blog spot.
Yeah, that's our main source of traffic nowadays.
I know. I've been enjoying it. You just click play and there it goes.
It's so convenient.
It is.
And then you can download it and take it with you on your on your Zunes.
Don't forget about the Zune.
Well, let's not forget about the feed. Okay, so in the feed this week,
the newest feed news was football.
That's right.
And Mike was happy enough to help me watch and cry a little.
Well, you took me prisoner, and you didn't give me a choice but to watch your picture-in-picture.
Right. Of my foosball.
Yeah.
And my Bears squeaked out a win.
Yeah, just barely.
After the Chargers had a terrible 7-6 loss to the Browns just now.
That was kind of an embarrassing win.
Piggybacking on USC's triumphant, catastrophic just beheading yesterday against Arizona.
Yeah.
I think it was 39-36 or something gay like that.
So the Bears are still in it?
Bears are still in it. They're 6-1.
Doing pretty strong.
You would have never guessed by watching that game today.
And they almost lost to the motherfucking North Carolina Panthers.
Now 1-6 Carolina Panthers.
We don't need that horrible state.
I know. And if it wasn't for just an interception return for a touchdown and a long field goal.
Exactly, yeah. Just barely.
Just barely.
So, speaking of not needing terrible things, NBC has decided to pre-cancel a, quote, comedy series by stand-up, quote, comedian Dane Cook.
I gotta say I'm happy about this.
Yes,
but at the same time, I would have watched it.
Yes, you watch
Since I watch
anything
everything on
NBC.
Anything comedy related. I give it a shot.
Unfortunately. So according to this article from IGN, a little over a year ago, IGN reported that comedian Dane Cook had inked a deal with NBC to star in his own sitcom. Has he been in a sitcom before?
Not
Just
that
some
I know
shitty
of.
movies, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and his legions of fans.
Yeah. Why? I'll never understand it. So the wheels turned and out came the show Next Caller with Dane Cook starring as a chauvinistic shock jock that gets paired up with the romance-loving NPR female co-host. The show was slated for mid-season. Now Deadline is reporting that NBC is pulling the plug on the entire project with executive citing after filming 4 episodes of the 6-episode order that creatively the series was not going in the direction that they had hoped for, end quote.
And it already didn't get enough viewers.
Pretty much.
The ratings were already too low to even give it a 5th episode to make.
Well, IGN has stated that for the record, they had a chance to see the pilot episode, and they assure everyone that they aren't missing anything.
Thank you, IGN.
NBC saved us from this potentially catastrophic.
Well, and for some reason
show.
they picked up their other new series that started.
NBC will
Their
anything.
last place network. They're really grasping at straws. So
Yeah.
there's new series every year, and I haven't been too impressed with any of the new ones now.
Yeah,
but
well,
I
when
know
was
a
the
couple
last
of them
time
got
you were a
picked
big
up.
fan of like an NBC show?
Well,
Besides Saturday Night Live.
I still watch The Office and Parks and Recreation.
Oh yeah, that's
Community
like
is
the
gonna start
only thing
Sunday.
that they're grasping with.
Yeah, and those are all Thursday nights, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was
And-
last year or 2 years ago where NBC picked up that Wonder Woman TV show
Oh wow,
that looked fucking terrible and had nothing to do with Wonder Woman whatsoever.
Yeah,
And that was another one that they pre-canceled.
pre-canceled.
Yeah.
Yes, thank goodness.
So for the sake of Wonder Woman and Wonder Woman fans out there, I'm so glad to do it. Are you a fan of Dane Cook? Like,
I've tried watching one of his stand-ups, and I got about 20 minutes in. And
Hey
then-
guys, look at me yell! I'm gonna walk over this way now.
Did you know that ethnic people act this way and non-ethnic people act this way?
Let me yell into the microphone. This is funny.
He very much reminded me of like the legions of Andrew Dice Clay
Oh.
followers in the late 80s and
Yeah.
early 90s. Like it just like this is the new generation.
Oh.
Dane Cook.
Dane Cook is the Andrew Dice Clay of the aughts.
I guess so.
Oh.
Just the fact that he goes into stadiums and has his stage in the middle.
Sold out stadiums.
Yeah, and the crowd is around him.
Yes.
And-
That's called a vicious circle.
Right, right.
You get it?
Hickory-dickory
It's so fucking
dock.
funny.
Your mom sat on my cock. Sorry, I don't know any Andrew Dice Clay either.
Fuck you, Dane Cook. Stop ruining television and movies, and stop ruining comedy.
And thank you, IGN, for helping us.
Yes, exactly.
Helping
Thank you
him
to
to not
NBC
ruin
for
comedy.
coming to their senses and not airing this travesty.
Because animal practice is just kicking ass.
I know. It's taking away precious airtime.
I know. I can spend an hour talking about the NBC series, but let's
Yeah,
move on.
Let's move on. So, Adam, you had a story that you wanted to share with us because, according to what you always say, like, you know, Adam always says, don't give money to the mentally ill.
Have you noticed how your favorite pop stars are just off?
Just
slightly.
a little off.
They
yeah.
do crazy things.
Yeah, so according to this recent study, you know, Adam's old saying there might be more to it than we would think. So Adam, can you walk us through this, please?
So I stumbled across an article judging on a study that was done on 1.2 million patients and their relatives
Good golly.
regarding history of mental illnesses, primarily bipolar and schizophrenia, found that a very high majority of them happen to be artists and scientists as well.
Ooh, that makes sense.
So this kind of just bared credence to the fact that I say things like the mentally ill get famous, unfortunately, and end up doing more crazy things while they're famous.
Because of their fame.
Like wearing meat dresses and being chauffeured in eggs. And I don't know who I'm talking about here. But
who would do such a thing?
And shaving their hair off and attacking cars with umbrellas.
Who would do such a thing?
I know. The mentally ill and pop stars. So writers specifically were more likely to be diagnosed. Writers specifically were more likely to be diagnosed with schizophrenia, depression, anxiety, and substance abuse. and they were almost 50% more likely to commit suicide than the general population.
Good golly.
I mean, that's artists that just write things, not the ones that are performing.
I know, in front of people.
Yeah. At the Honda Center in Anaheim. So, again, just trying to make the point that we got to be careful on who we allow to be famous.
Yes,
and we have to make sure they're medicated properly.
A lot of the times it's the publishers and the labels that get to choose who get to be famous, but we fans have a lot of say in that too. So we got to make sure that we.
But it's usually during that manic high of a bipolar where they create a lot of their best stuff.
Yes, and I always say, I mean, like, being mentally ill and famous is one thing, but a lot of good art comes from really dark places sometimes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting place to be.
So, Adam, based on this study, what mental disorder do you think I have? Because I like to fancy myself a creative type. I go up there in front of stages once in a while. Well, I haven't done it in a year or so. But.
Well, Mike has a post-traumatic fear of his father's football and Republican-leaning side.
Well, I do have that.
There's some post-traumatic stress. I'm sure he wakes up screaming in the night.
I do.
From his night terrors.
I do, yeah.
But I never...
George W. Bush, no!
And there's been only a few times where you've told me to look at the pretty angels flying in your periphery.
Yes.
Like the visual hallucinations.
Yes, I have those quite often.
And he often asks me, what did I say when I haven't actually said anything. So there's auditory hallucinations going on all the time, too. So
I've suffered from hallucinations, possibly schizophrenia.
Possibly schizophrenia.
Okay.
You don't have the mood problems, as far as I know.
Okay.
Since I've often asked you if you like to cut yourself.
You don't see me when I cut myself to go to sleep.
Well, then I'm gearing towards the depression, a little bit of schizophrenia with psychotic features. Wait, that can't be right.
Yeah.
Major depression with psychotic features. Is what
right. So after this show, you're gonna have to give me a full rundown of everything I need and what I need to medicate myself with.
Well, I can't do medications. I can only refer.
Shh.
Oh, sorry. I'll give you something. It'll be great.
That way I can be famous.
Horse tranquilizers.
There we go. All right, so next story over here. So I'm sure you guys have heard a couple weeks ago. It was actually a big story, and it was a big event that was broadcast throughout the internet on YouTube. The Austrian skydiver / daredevil / base jumper, goes by the name of Felix Baumgartner, had broken the record for the highest free fall jump in history, and he was legally in outer space when he did that.
Yes, he had to wear a spacesuit and everything.
Exactly.
He was like, look at Neil Armstrong.
Fell through the atmosphere. So, when did you hear about it? Did you hear about that on the news?
I saw it on the news.
Yeah.
I saw it on Colbert when he said, "Oh my God,
yeah,
what the hell is going on here?" And I mean, seriously, you see that clip, and he just walks out like, doo-doo-doo.
Just whoop.
Then he said something. He said something that was inaudible, but
I can't remember.
He mentioned it again on Jimmy
either,
Fallon. Yeah. Something about one small step for man, or no, probably not.
No, a couple decades off.
Yeah.
So according to this article in the Huffington Post, in a giant leap from more than 24 miles up. That's about the distance that I drive to go to your house. So stretch that out, and you imagine free falling that distance. So from 24 miles up, the daredevil skydiver shattered the sound barrier. He went so fast, he created a sonic boom, dude. On Sunday, 2 Sundays ago, while making the highest jump ever, a tumbling, death-defying plunge from a balloon to a safe landing in the New Mexico desert.
Yeah, that's crazy. He must have been right in that area where, like, before there's no gravity, but you're still in outer space.
Yeah, so he's still in the atmosphere.
Yeah,
he's still,
I don't know how far up you have to go.
He was still
out
affected.
Of the atmosphere?
He was still affected by the Earth's gravitational pull.
Okay.
You have a few thousand miles before you can actually. I mean, you can free fall in space, but you'll still be dragged to Earth because it's just a large body.
Got it.
Yeah. So Felix Baumgartner hit Mach 1.24 or 833.9 miles per hour, according to the preliminary data, and became the first person to reach supersonic speed without traveling in a jet or a spacecraft after hopping out of a capsule that had reached an altitude of 128,100 feet above the Earth.
Wow.
Baumgartner's descent lasted more than 9 minutes. About half of that was in free fall, so he was free falling for about 119,843 feet.
Damn.
Can you imagine that, dude?
And I saw he started like flipping.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna.
Yeah, you're gonna. Yeah.
I'm surprised he didn't catch on fire going at that speed.
I think that was the suit, probably. Another thing that was cool about this jump was that Baumgartner's team included Joe Kittinger, who first tried to break the sound barrier from 19.5.
The old guy, right?
Yeah, the old guy. He did it back in 1960, but he was only managed to reach a speed of 614 miles per hour.
Loser.
Pussy.
Yeah. Get a better spacesuit, old man.
So I thought that was pretty cool that, somebody who's trying to beat your old record and you're helping them do it. I thought that was pretty humble.
He seemed excited.
Yeah,
and the dude even said, like, records are made to be broken. So
yeah, exactly.
keep on pushing the envelope.
Exactly. And when he landed on his feet in Roswell, New Mexico, like, he jumped up, he cheered, he started crying, and it was a monumental event. And the whole event was sponsored by Red Bull energy drink.
Of course.
And it gives you wings, don't forget. And it was broadcast live over YouTube with more than 8 million simultaneous views.
Holy crap.
I watched a few of it, but it was I was too busy at work. It was during work, so I had to.
And where did he land? That was the one thing I was wondering. Okay, it was New Mexico.
Yeah.
Like, did he land where he meant to land?
Well, I mean, from that high distance, you could only kind of pinpoint.
I guess so.
So much,
Yeah.
So, but he landed on his feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then probably threw up.
Yeah, probably.
Inside the spacesuit.
Threw up in joy, I'm sure. Yeah.
I still think he should have done like a double backflip off the pad instead of just like stepping off.
I mean, he's got the room, I guess.
It wasn't so much a jump as it was just a step.
He should have
off
did like
high
a
platform.
300 backflip. Or
Yeah,
something.
he had plenty of time. He could have broken the record for the most backflips.
I think that's what I'm going to train for now. I'm
Okay.
going to break this guy's record for doing most backflips in outer space.
1, 2, 3. Okay, that's enough.
Nah, whatever.
I'm getting sick now.
Yeah, my head's about to explode from breaking the sound barrier.
And when this dude was on Jimmy Fallon this week, and he talked about how they're going to be kind of releasing a documentary about the entire process.
Yeah, he's been training for this for years too.
Yeah, and he seemed like a normal dude, but just a douchebag. Because anybody who's going to jump out of airplanes is going to be a douchebag.
Hey, so Jimmy, have you ever jumped out from outer space before? No, I can't say that. Boom, Jimmy, I have. Fuck you,
Fuck
Fallon.
you. I'm going on SNL now.
I was like Pharaoh better than you, Fallon.
Oh.
Suck my outer space dick.
And then Felix Baumgartner and the host of Late Night with Felix Baumgartner.
This is my show, motherfucker.
My show now.
Play me out, Roots.
Congratulations.
Congratulations to Baumgartner and his team. That was such a magnificent feat. And I watched the replays, and it's incredible. So, next story in the feed is actually a pretty big event that happened last Tuesday. For those of you who maybe do not subscribe to the Democratic or Republican parties or that rigmarole, you may have been
the 3%, the fringe.
Yeah, the fringe. Yeah, you may have caught it. You may not have heard of it, but I've mentioned it on my personal Facebook. If you guys are friends with me,
I did too.
Yeah,
I did too.
Exactly. So on Tuesday, the first alternative presidential debate, which was hosted by Free and Equal, which is a grassroots website dedicated to giving a voice to other political parties. They hosted their
first time ever.
This is the first time ever, and it was moderated by the legendary Larry King.
Larry King.
Yeah, and Adam, you saw it after I sent you the link, right? You didn't see it live.
Yes.
Yeah, I actually did.
No, I don't even. No, I didn't see it live.
Yeah. Yeah, you were probably driving home at that time.
Yeah.
So, like I said,
some of us have jobs, Mike.
Yeah, I know, right? So on Tuesday, October 23rd at 8 o'clock to 9:30 p.m. Central Time in Chicago, Free and Equal sponsored the presidential debate without the exclusionary entrance requirements and stiff rules of the Commission of Presidential Debates, which is, for anyone wondering, that's why, for now, that we have only the top two. The top two presidential debates right now because of these really strict rules that the commission set in place because of Ross Perot.
Good job, Ross Perot.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Ross Perot. Ruined it for everyone else.
Outside the box.
So,
Larry, can I finish? Larry.
So Free and Equal invited the Libertarian nominee Gary Johnson, the Green Party nominee Jill Stein, Constitution Party's...
She's a doctor, by the way.
She is doctor.
She did mention it like 50 times.
Yeah, she wouldn't shut up about it. The Constitution Party's Virgil Goode and the Justice Party nominee Rocky Anderson, who ran for Democratic nomination in 2012, but he didn't get it.
Really? I didn't even realize that.
Exactly, because of the same reason why none of the other people get invited to the primaries and stuff, the Democratic Party shut out Rocky Anderson, and Rocky Anderson had to create the Justice Party in order to have his voice heard.
Gotcha.
So all of whom agreed to participate, of course. Barack Obama and Mitt Romney were also invited, but for some reason they refused the invitation, and I wonder why.
For some reason, yeah. They felt they were too good for it.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
they're like, I can't have people cheering for me after I say something.
Yeah, I know. I can't have people questioning my
Larry
authority.
King, he's too young to moderate this debate.
Larry. Let me be clear. Let me be clear, Larry.
Let me be clear.
So topics included the top 2 primary system and how that hurts the democratic process, which it does. The war on drugs, which also the other 2 parties never mention ever. The real deficit cuts, which the other parties don't mention at all. Education costs, to which all the candidates had their own visions on how to deal with such an issue. The NDAA, which Obama and Romney will refuse to talk about. Drone strikes, civil liberties, and each candidate closed the debate, answering the question, if you could propose one constitutional amendment and be assured that it would be adopted, what would you choose? The next debate is actually going to take place it's going to take place on Tuesday, October 30th. So if you guys are interested, please check that out. I'm going to have the link to this debate up on the show notes below. So I really
it's very important.
Yeah, no matter your political affiliation, I really highly recommend that you watch this one because no matter what your ideologies are, I believe in giving a voice to everyone. And letting everybody else's
except Roseanne Barr.
Except for Roseanne
She
Barr.
wasn't invited. She's still on the ballot in the Peace and Freedom Party, but she wasn't there, which I don't know.
Except if you're Roseanne Barr.
I was wondering the reason for that, though. Did you know anything about it? I didn't look it up at all.
I don't think that she even has that big a polling number because she was running on the Green Party for the longest time.
Yes.
Until Jill Stein got the nomination.
Yes.
Yeah.
But she was on my ballot when I got it in the mail.
Yeah.
For the Peace and Freedom Party with Cindy.
Did you vote for her? You voted for her.
No.
You voted for Jill Stein?
Jill Stein, yeah.
Okay.
But Cindy Sheehan is Roseanne Barr's vice presidential nominee or whatever.
Yeah,
I just thought it was weird that they didn't invite them.
Maybe she denied. I don't know.
Maybe.
I mean, they send out the invitation.
Like, I'm keeping it real.
Yeah, they send it out to all the major political parties. So maybe she just denied it. So, if you guys did get a chance, and you guys went to the Free and Equal website, you guys could have voted to see who made it to the next the debate coming out tomorrow on Tuesday, October 30th. And I'm proud to announce that both Gary Johnson and Jill Stein have been nominated to move on to the next debate. Woohoo! So Mike versus Adam.
I feel bad for Rocky Anderson because the more I listened to him, I was just like, I kind of agree with this guy.
I agree with.
I had never heard of him before, so I was just like, it was all a blank slate.
Yeah,
so
I agree with a lot
like.
he has, but I don't agree with, just like Jill Stein, I don't agree with her her student bailouts. That's very.
Anyway, moving on.
Yeah,
moving on.
Exactly right. So,
moving on.
What were your highlights from the debate because you watched it?
I like the constitutional amendment proposal.
Yes, that was a good question.
I can't remember what everybody said now, but that was a very interesting proposal.
Yeah, Jill Stein mentioned that she would make the amendment that corporations aren't corporate personhood. She would make it so that corporations aren't being treated like people. Yeah,
because they're not.
Because they're not. Yeah, and Gary Johnson wanted to put an amendment for term limits.
Yes.
Yeah. And
well, 2 of them wanted term limits, I think.
Term limits,
right?
yeah.
I forget the other one.
Virgil Goode also reiterated the term limit thing. He's very big. And speaking of Virgil Goode, I don't agree with a lot the guy says. I agree with some of the things he said. I mean, the good thing about this debate is that they all had similar talking points. But
yes.
Virgil Goode was like, he was the most right wing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's just like,
Republican, yeah.
funding Planned Parenthood ain't in my... And a whole bunch of boos from the crowd. He didn't want to legalize marijuana.
Yeah, so he was the only one up there that didn't want drug legalization. And he didn't mention this, but he also doesn't agree with marriage equality. Oh. So he's the most right wing of the 4 that was up there.
He's pretty far out.
But given that, I got to applaud the guy because he's like, you guys aren't going to agree with me, but these are my positions. I'm not going to pander to you. Mm-hmm. And that got an applause. And I applauded that too. I mean,
and he did say he had been just about on every single...
Yeah, he was a Democrat in the 90s, and he was a Republican in the aughts, and now he's the Constitution Party.
I was trying to figure that out. Like, wait, how did so much transition went on? But okay. And he sounded like Ross Perot.
He did, yeah.
A good throwback. It's like reliving the 90s again. Reliving the 90s again.
Yeah. So are you gonna stick around for the next one?
Of course.
Yeah.
And if it's on YouTube and I can watch it whenever I want.
Yeah, exactly.
Then
so I'll send you the link, and we'll probably talk about it for next week's episode as well. All right, sweet. Well, thank you guys.
The only problem is that it gives hope.
It does.
As you listen to them, you're like, yes, if I agree with 3/4 of this panel, like these odds look good for things. But then you're like, wait, no.
But they all mentioned it as well. The two-party primary system is really detrimental to the democratic process, and the fact that the two big parties that they shut out the other voices deliberately, and it just hurts everyone when that happens. Yeah, so
it's just something that probably won't change in our lifetimes.
I would really want to.
You can have the most vocal, outspoken third-party candidates in the history of time.
As long as I'm going to make a prediction, as long as the internet stays free and open, I think we're going to start to see this trend of more voices getting heard, and
just might
the quote unquote fringe party starting to get more of a voice now.
That would be great.
That's
what they all said in 2000 when Nader got 6% of the vote.
Yeah, but nobody was
third
really.
Third parties are making a comeback, and that
statistically speaking, they really are now.
Okay,
so I'm crossing my fingers for that.
It may happen.
I would love to have. The two main party. I don't agree with anything that Obama or Romney says, but like if the two parties were like Stein and Johnson, my God, like everyone wins. except if
you agree with us, everyone wins.
except if you don't agree with like student bailouts, but like Mike does, like Mike doesn't. Sorry. Sweet. So I'm looking forward to it. I hope you guys are. Please check it out. It's like an hour and a half long. It's really worth watching. It's a little rough, like for the first 15 minutes or so.
It took them a while to figure out what they were doing there in the first place.
Like,
but
this is
other than that,
this is the first of its kind. So please check it out. Let us know what you think, and we're gonna move on because we got really big topic for On the Plate now that we've been saving for like 2 weeks actually. So On the Plate. All right, so On the Plate this week. As you may or may not know, my good friend Adam here is going to be a baby daddy.
A baby daddy.
Yeah.
I have officially inseminated
a woman.
A woman.
Did it feel so good when you did it with your penis?
It sure did.
So if
I could remember.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Did I conceive that day?
Was it me, or was it when Mike came over that day and I wasn't home from work
I did come over pretty early.
My baby, if it comes out with brown eyes, I'm gonna be happy because I think brown eyes are better than blue eyes.
Okay.
But that's just
So you're welcome. You're welcome, Adam. We're gonna have a long discussion in about 7 months.
Okay.
So in another parenting discussion. In another parenting discussion, Adam and I are going to discuss the pros and cons of telling other people the gender of a gestating baby.
Mm-hmm.
When is the appropriate time to bring it up?
Now, during the last 2 weeks, this has been one of the furthest concerns from my mind.
Okay.
As my wife is going through probably typical first trimester, blah, yeah, all that good stuff, and making sure, like, okay, is she healthy? Is baby healthy? All that kind of stuff, which is enough anxiety to make me like, I don't care what gender it is. I just don't want it to come out with like 8 eyes and one of them, missing or something.
So are you going to tell me that if your baby is born with 8 eyes, you're not going to love it?
I will send it to the moon.
The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Yeah.
Exactly.
Send it to your nearest bell tower.
Exactly. Bell tolls for thee. Anyway,
so I mean, this is we've been talking on and off about this. This is kind of a discussion that's been going on
for many years between us.
Okay,
like we knew we were going to have kids at some point.
Yeah,
of course, nature dictated when that was going to happen.
Yes.
So here we are now. It's like, oh yeah, now we have to remember all the things that we talked about years ago when it was like, oh, what do we tell the parents about and what do we tell everybody about the gender when we know? Because the problem is that the holidays are rapidly approaching.
Right. Gift-giving season.
We're going to know the gender before Thanksgiving.
Oh, is that right?
And I'm worried about that because we're going to be seeing everybody we know and care about and stuff. But
so you got to watch what you say. So you can't say he or she.
The problem is that she's very, very focused on not getting gender-specific things for the baby.
Okay.
Because she's always felt that way.
Okay.
It feels very strongly. I, for one, didn't really care.
Okay.
But I'm going to honor her opinion.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter to me.
She is carrying your child.
She is carrying my child.
You can at least give her that, I guess, right?
And as Mike will be testament to, she did tell him and his wife today that I'm being the best husband in the world.
Oh, yeah,
during
you
this
are.
difficult time.
Yeah.
Which part of me was surprised.
Which is weird because I thought I was being the best husband in the world.
We can't have two. I didn't even know you until your wife was already 5 months pregnant.
You know what? We can't have two best husbands. This is not right. There can only be
solo
one.
podcast from now on.
The Skinny with Mike.
With the best husband ever, Adam.
Exactly. So you're in the position that if you were to find out, and if the decision was up to you, you would tell everyone.
I think I personally, I don't care who knows.
Mm-hmm. And why not?
I don't know. It's not like been a big deal to me.
See, I'm in this position. I'm in that position as well. I mean, like, hiding it doesn't really help anything.
But I understand that I don't want everything pink or blue.
But then again, when people do give you that gift, you have the choice of whether or not you want to put it on your child.
That's true.
Yeah.
See, I think what she's mostly worried about is an excess of pink things that we don't need.
Okay.
Like we'll have more pink stuff than a baby would need. And then we would have like a pile of pink stuff to go to Goodwill.
In my experience, because I have a daughter and I didn't worry about this stuff, but we got a lot of clothing and we got a lot of gifts. A lot of it was pink.
Yes.
I didn't mind that because, I mean, I like pink. My wife likes pink. And now my daughter changes her mind about pink every now and then. But when we did get our gifts, our gift givers were very nice enough to give us the gift receipt.
Oh,
there you go.
So you
that happens nowadays.
Ooh,
yeah.
Okay.
You can always return stuff.
That's a good sign.
Yeah.
So anyway, I understand where my wife is coming from.
Okay.
And I want to keep her,
keep her as happy as possible.
As possible.
Yeah.
But we'll probably learn the hard way that we'll have an excess of whatever color. There's so many other colors though.
There is purple.
There's red, there's orange, there's yellow, there's green, there's indigo,
chartreuse,
there's violet, there's fuchsia.
There's also pink and hot pink and powder pink.
Powder pink, yes. And powder blue.
Powder blue.
If we're going for the boy side.
And navy blue. And cobalt blue.
And royal blue. The goddamn pen is blue. But anyway, I don't have a problem with anybody mistaking my baby for a boy when it's not a boy or vice versa.
Yeah.
Either. So
that happened to us once. I mean, we were at IHOP and my daughter was wearing a Nike like hoodie with a matching like sweatpants, and it was like powder blue. But my sister gave it to her, I think, and she had pigtails on. But then the waitress said, "It's like, oh, what a handsome young boy." I'm like, oh, okay.
How old was
that's a girl? She was like 1.5 or so.
How does it feel when that happens?
No big deal.
Okay.
Maybe she
I
didn't
didn't think that it was a big deal either. I'm just like wondering if when it actually does happen, if like some weird grizzly dad thing comes out. Papa Grizzly.
No, I mean I can't imagine.
It's a girl. Fuck you.
She's a beautiful girl.
I want my money back for these pancakes. How dare you make $8 an hour and not know the gender of my child by looking at its clothing?
I know. No, I mean, do you imagine that being a problem? Like people
I don't.
knowing the gender?
I don't.
You're just worried about the clothing thing, man.
I just don't want all one color or all the other color.
Well,
I would like all the colors of the rainbow.
Okay.
Like Skittles.
Exactly.
Buy
Which
me
are
Skittles
delicious.
clothes. Yes. They are delicious and they are colorful.
Then why don't you just mention the people, please give a variety of colors?
Because the problem with that is that there's plenty of people who don't do that still. They're
Okay.
like a variety of colors. So again, hot pink, powder pink,
Yes.
light pink, dark pink. Like that's the kind of
Yeah.
that's what they hear.
It's a variety.
So we'll figure it out.
Can you imagine that being a big problem?
For somebody out in the other room, it is.
Okay. So when do you think that, given your wife's blessing, when do you think that you'll be announcing the gender?
Given her blessing right now.
Assuming you find out, because we didn't find out for a long time.
How many weeks?
Ooh.
They told us. I heard 15 weeks.
Yes.
And she's 11 weeks right now.
You can find out pretty early, but we didn't find out till really late because they just couldn't find my daughter's vagina. Which is weird to say, but because
well, I don't see a penis, so we don't want to say it's a girl yet.
yeah, because sometimes it gets tucked in, and it could have been a boy.
This is the way you said that. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like I hope it's not a boy. When you start, we don't see anything yet, so we're just going to plan on.
It could be a boy with a micro penis.
with a micro penis, hence the father. No.
Huh?
No, because Mike, we've already discussed.
We've discussed this many times.
That's when you worried that it was, somebody else's baby.
Exactly, I guess.
You're like, Adam, did you break in here before we were even friends and impregnate me?
So when do you
say
think? So
yes.
after the holiday, so close to maybe the baby shower.
Yes,
then?
she's really leaning on that.
Okay.
Right now our focus is more so on let's just make it through the day without puking if we can.
Yeah, that's the
or
important
have
stuff.
a migraine or other sort of whatever issues.
Yeah.
she's got lots of aches
pregnancy
and pains.
issues.
Yeah, pregnancy issues. So that's kind of been where more of our focus is. She's perfectly healthy.
So how do you plan?
Nonetheless.
How do you plan on keeping it secret? Because it might slip. Because if it
I
ends up being a
know.
girl, you don't want to say, "Oh, she's just fine."
It.
Yeah.
I can say it.
You can say it. You're gonna make a conscious effort just to make sure you say it or the
Because
baby.
we're doing a good job of it now.
But you
We
don't
talk
know
about
now.
the baby
Okay.
in the third person.
But when you consciously know, though,
That's going to be tough.
that's gonna be tough.
So we'll just keep on saying the baby.
Okay.
The baby said, I don't want pink.
So once you
Wink,
find out,
wink.
yeah. So when you do find out the gender, when you guys personally do, and you haven't announced it yet, you're gonna start coming up with names, and then still make a conscious effort not to refer to the gestating baby
Exactly.
as a name.
Well, yeah. Luckily, we're
That
not.
sounds like a lot of work.
It does, and it's going to be very, very difficult at the holidays because we have 3 places to go on Thanksgiving and just as many, if not more, on
Speaking of
Christmas.
Thanksgiving, is one of those houses Mike's house, Adam?
It would be if you didn't do it on Thanksgiving.
I know. Okay, so turn it on me, I guess. Okay, it's my fault. But
Again,
continue.
especially with
yeah.
pregnant wife, she can't make a non-appearance at her family's or
Okay.
my family's
Yes.
/ friends.
Is she getting a lot of the belly rubs
Not
from
yet.
unwanted?
Well,
from unwanted
she's not
hands?
going outside very much
Oh, okay.
because she's just kind of feeling
Puking
icky.
on everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll go out, and she's not showing any
Yeah, it's still pretty early.
much.
Yeah.
So that's fine.
Okay. So any
But
last thoughts that you wanted to bring
It's going to
up?
be a long 4 to 5 months.
Okay.
If we know and don't tell people.
If you could snap your fingers and determine the gender right now, what would you think?
I keep on going back and forth on that. I don't
Mhm.
really care.
Yeah, I didn't really care either.
I keep on. I weigh the pros and cons of both boy and girl.
What are the pros
'Cause
of
I'm
being
like,
what-
girl?
what-
I always felt like I would prefer a girl in the past,
Okay.
but now I'm starting to see raising a girl would be very different
Because
because
you're not a girl.
because I'm not a girl, and then I realize how much goes into being a girl, and there's
That's
other
until
things
puberty.
about little girls that they have to do to
Like
keep clean and whatnot.
it's no different than a boy. You gotta still clean up a boy. You think a boy shits and pisses his pants? He'll be fine.
But yeah, no, I don't really care.
Yeah.
I would
So
not.
so snap your fingers. You'll gender neutral.
Gender neutral. A little bit of both.
Unique.
Both will. Yeah. I mean,
So snap your fingers, and the baby wakes up one day with his penis and vagina touching each other. Then we can buy purple.
There, yes. Merge the two.
All right, sweet. So any last thoughts?
No.
Nah. This is your topic idea.
I know. It's just it's just one of those things about
hard to talk
society.
about,
It's
I
like
guess.
you have to label a gender right away. It's like, do you know if it's a boy or a girl? It's a girl. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah,
And then-
well, I mean, yeah, that's up to the parents to label, quote unquote.
It's up to society to label.
It's up to
I'm
the
not saying
parents to.
Mike will. Mike's outside society. He's a third-party fringe voter.
I am
So I don't worry about
with
him
a
judging
with
my
a
baby
mental
based on the
with
gender.
a mental illness because I'm a musician also.
Well, yeah. Major depressive disorder.
Yeah,
With psychotic features.
so I'm outside society's laws. Fuck you, society.
With a drastic inferiority complex.
Do I?
Which is why he gravitates towards like-minded individuals such as Gary Johnson
Yes.
to tell him what to do and how to think.
Tell me what to do. Obviously, you don't know anything about libertarianism.
I'm just joking.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so you guys are worried about society pressures of being a gender? Because I mean, like,
More because there's certain elements of the families who adhere more to those societal gender norms.
by the families, do you mean her family?
Well, I did say in podcast from 2 weeks ago
Okay.
How certain people in that side of the family view things
Yeah.
Fox News related,
Okay.
like the blacks will riot if Obama loses.
They will.
Yes.
I'm still crossing my fingers on that.
Yes. I'm waiting for that assassination attempt.
Any day now.
It's coming. Like Angioni
Yeah.
spoke first. So it's very, very of a Mississippi lifestyle.
But you got to remember, you guys are the parents, not your family. You guys guys
Yes.
get to dictate how you raise your child.
Yes. We
Not
will
them.
dictate.
And if they don't like it, then fuck them.
Is it that easy to just blow them off?
Well, if they don't understand, then what?
Because
You can't
all-
make them understand.
All I do all day is talk about how people can't get rid of that annoying family member.
I can.
Mike did a good job of it.
I have.
And now Gary Johnson is his father.
Yes.
I love you, Daddy.
Dad, you did a great job in the debates. I can't wait to see the next
Can we
one.
move to New Mexico?
I know you. And I know I've known you and Don for years now, and I can't imagine you guys are going to give in to society. I was like, oh, it's a boy. We have to get him
Right.
to like sports, like Adam. It's a girl. We
I
got
know.
to teach her how to be submissive to men.
And I made the mistake of telling somebody that if I had a boy, I would probably want it to like play baseball. And then they all jumped all over me and said, "You can still do that with a girl too."
Yeah.
And I was like, "I know. God damn it."
Wait, well, to be fair, you did word that really pretty bad.
I didn't word it that exact way.
Okay, how did
I
you word
worded
it?
it much more neutrally than that.
Okay.
Because somebody asked me, like, if you had a boy, what would you do? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, make it play sports? And I'm
Make
like,
it
well, girls
play
can do that too. Like,
Yes, I know
I
that.
get it. I understand. I know the difference. That's why I studied sociology and
Yes.
things
That's
like
why
that.
I'm in this job.
Girls can do things that boys can, and boys can wear pink.
Yes.
Not this boy,
Okay.
because I look stupid in pink.
No, you don't. You have that pink shirt I gave you, and you look great.
And Laura told me I look like a punk princess.
Okay.
So I burned that shirt.
Fuck Laura. I'm sorry, Laura. No, please. I love you. I love you more than you know.
Okay, I didn't burn it. I just think about that every time I want to put it on.
You look amazing in that shirt.
Okay.
Shut up.
Thank you. So, anyway.
Yeah, I think me and my wife, we do pretty much a good job of letting our daughter like anything that she wants to like.
She's kind of in that princess phase right now.
She's in that princess phase, and she took a ballerina class. She likes playing soccer and stuff, and she likes being outside. She likes being dirty. She likes superheroes.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's maybe because it's rubbing off from me. She sees me.
Well, yeah.
She sees me and how much I like him. So
You
maybe-
are a superhero to her.
Ooh, I like
Ooh,
that.
Yes.
That's my Halloween
You
costume
came
this year.
from, you came from adversity.
Yes. Woohoo!
You lived on the fringes of society, seeking a pseudo-father to replace your own.
Gary Johnson, I know you're out there. I know you're listening, man.
It's so true.
Awesome. Well, I can't wait to eventually find out.
I know.
Yeah. Not that it's going to matter, because I'm going to love it either way.
I agree.
Yeah.
I just want healthy. That's all I
Yeah.
care about.
10 fingers, 10 toes.
Or 8 if needed.
If needed.
Then it's a Simpson.
Well, we already know that you're not going to love your child if it's disfigured.
That's if it had 8 eyes. If it had 8 everything
8
else,
fingers
I'd be okay
and toes,
with it.
It's cool, I guess.
Yeah, the
you can
eyes
still function.
I can't function with too many eyes.
Daddy, do you love me?
Kind of.
Sure. Wear this hat. Wear this beanie, son or daughter.
I should have been born a girl.
You would love me more if I was a boy. Why don't you let me play sports, Daddy?
Yeah. I think either way I will be excited.
Awesome.
And you take, as you said, you take fatherhood kind of day by day and incident by incident.
And I mentioned this I think I mentioned this on our first parenthood topic, that parenthood scares the shit out of me every single day. And it should, because that's what good parents do, because they're always constantly, not worried, but they're always constantly on their toes about every new challenge that comes along the way.
Because right now I'm thinking like, man, Mike's already 4 years into this. He's probably got a good system going.
Yeah.
He's like, she's doing stuff. She's not relying on your wife for sustenance.
Yeah. She doesn't breastfeed.
She's
at 4.
I mean, she's not still in utero.
Yeah.
And she can eat for herself and
I think
socialize.
I think me and my wife do a good job. I mean, you don't like to ever think that you're a bad parent, especially when you're trying your hardest. But
yes,
parenting's not for everyone.
And Mike has his daughter in check, just like I have my dogs in check.
What do you mean by in check?
They act kind of crazy at times.
Oh,
but as soon as you're just like, don't do that and sit over there.
Yeah,
like they do it. Zoe does that, and my dogs do that really well.
Well,
you go sit on the couch and you sit there until I tell you to.
Like I say, you got to treat your children like animals.
Yes.
No, but that's probably a topic for another day. But really quick, you gotta instill them good values and respect and dignity at an early age, and you got to keep reinforcing that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Honey Boo Boo is not.
Honey Boo Boo. America.
How old is that kid? Like 6?
Oh, I don't know, dude.
I weep for the future.
Oh, poor kid. She's gonna have like a triple bypass by 8.
I know.
Poor kid. So let's go.
Anyway.
Let's go sound off now on our poor Honey Boo Boo. I need to check up on her, make sure she's okay. All right, so sounding
this
off.
Just in, Honey Boo Boo, cardiac arrest, age 6. Rest in peace.
2006 to 2008. In the eyes of the angels.
Mom tried to save her, but tripped over some flab on the way.
You want some skitty and butter? All right, so rounding out the end of this episode, I'm gonna go ahead and sound off on, and I'm gonna tell you guys about a story that combines 2 of my favorite things. And it was announced 2 weeks ago that late-night talk show host Conan O'Brien will be voicing a character in the upcoming animated adaptation The Dark Knight Returns Part 2 as Dave Endochrine, a late-night talk show host.
David Endochrine.
Yeah, he's a character in the Frank Miller the Frank Miller story The Dark Knight Returns, which they're adapting to an animated movie. And Part 1 came out like 2 months ago. It was really good. Part 2 is coming out soon, and now I guess Conan O'Brien is going to be voicing one of the late night talk show hosts.
Well, he is already a comic book character.
Pretty much, yeah.
I forgot his comic book character name.
The Flaming Sea.
Sea?
I think it's the Flaming Sea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
He wears oven mitts.
Yeah.
And a garter.
Very masculinely.
For those of you who don't know, in the story The Dark Knight Returns, the news and talk shows are very important to the story and the way that the Gotham Society is in that time period. So so Conan O'Brien's actually going to be playing a pretty important part. He's going to actually, if you haven't read the story, he's actually going to interview the Joker, who's been released, quote unquote, released from Arkham Asylum.
That's probably not going to end well.
It's not going to end well.
Yeah.
So check that out.
So you're fresh out of the mental institution. Let's put you on TV in front of a wide world audience.
Andy, you want to comment on that, Andy?
I think it's a bad idea, Conan.
This shithead. So comment below. I'm gonna have the story below. If you guys saw Part 1, let me know if you guys have read the story at all. Maybe not. It's a pretty famous story. It's one of the. It's actually the story that relaunched Batman's popularity and set the tone for future stories, and it made Batman dark again and made him brooding and gave him his the movies that we had now, the Christopher Nolan, probably wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for The Dark Knight Returns by Frank Miller.
Thank you, Frank Miller.
Yeah, he hasn't done anything good lately, but I think Frank Miller is starting to go crazy. Yeah, he really
Well, he is a writer.
He is. Yeah,
So,
yeah, exactly. We brought that up too.
The likelihood of him being crazy is
What is it? Like
40%
50% more likely.
50% more likely to commit suicide.
Yeah.
So that's on the horizon.
Oh, this just in. Frank Miller found dead by suicide.
Honey Boo Boo
Aw.
was next to him.
All right,
It was a murder-suicide.
So 2 weeks ago, Adam gave you guys a review of the Green Day album Uno,
Yes.
an album, and you have 2 more albums you want to.
If we have time, because I also reviewed another album that got cut out of our last episode.
Yes, you
because
did.
we
I'm
went too
sorry.
long.
Yeah, because you talked for 15 minutes for that one.
I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, but we're making good time right now. So right now, do you want to review the new album by The Killers and also In Fear and Faith, a band that I like?
Yes, In Fear and Faith. Well, okay, we'll start with The Killers because they're an interesting
more popular.
band. I have a weird history with them because they came out with their first album.
Yeah.
Yes, very much love-hate. First album was in 2004, which listening back, I remember that was about the time where we were starting to get away from the boy band stuff.
Yeah, that's right.
And finally, rock bands were making it into the mainstream again.
Don't forget Nickelback.
Well, I meant bands that were kind of good.
Okay.
That had that indie-ish vibe that were going away from the grunge, obviously.
Somebody told me.
Yeah.
You
So
had a boyfriend.
we all heard about that song,
Yeah.
which I hated initially,
fucking
and
hate
I
that
still
song, dude.
hated it. But then all of a sudden, Mr. Brightside came out.
I love
and
Mr.
suddenly we were
Brightside.
all like, "Hey, this is pretty good." And
I
so
actually love Mr. Brightside. That's a great
they
song.
had 4 singles off of that album.
Yeah.
And I listened to Hot Fuss for the first time all the way through this week.
Oh, wow.
And I would have to say that I still hate 3 of those 4 singles.
Okay.
I
agree with you.
Because Mr. Brightside, yes. But the other ones was Smile Like You Mean It and all these things that I've done.
Yeah.
Just never caught on.
I don't even remember those songs anymore.
Yeah. They're in a block on the album, tracks 2 through 5. So by
all singles.
So I just started skipping those songs, and I was like, I don't want to hear these anymore. They've been played out. They're all on the list.
Yeah.
So for the rest of the album, I got to say it was very 2004.
Okay.
There's some good songs on there.
You can really tell it's mainstream 2004 right off the record. Yeah.
For the remaining 10 songs on the album, I would probably give it a 5 out of 10.
Okay.
So, but some pretty good 5s.
Okay.
I gotta say that. Now, Battleborn is their newest one.
Right.
That just came out a few weeks ago.
And I bought that for you soon.
You did.
Recently.
Thank you very much.
I didn't eat for a week because it was so expensive.
So with me and the Killers, Sam's Town was the second album.
Yes.
I love the first half of that album. I can't stand the second half. It's just I can listen up to track 6 and then I have to turn it off.
That happens to me too. Like the first Circus Survive album, I love the first half. I can't stand the second half. Yeah.
And then Day and Age came out somewhere around 2009, and I saw the video for it, and Brandon Flowers was wearing a bird jacket.
Aww.
And I said, this band is dead to me. And I wrote them off completely at that point.
What is this, Panic at the Disco?
Yeah, and it was a song called Spaceman, and I didn't like that song anyway. Spaceman said everybody wants some, and I was just...
And you had a boyfriend.
Yeah. So I wrote them off completely, and then I heard they had a new album coming out, and my wife has been listening to them more often lately, because Mike was nice enough to buy us their entire anthology.
It was expensive.
So I was just like, I'll just listen to the new album, see what I think. I'm not going into it expecting very much.
Yeah.
And I was very pleasantly surprised with the new album.
Awesome.
And it was very different than the old stuff.
That's what I hear, yeah.
The bad part is that it's pretty ballad heavy. So
it's not necessarily a bad thing.
Not a lot of very up-tempo-y songs, but just very, very good song structure, very good hooks.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I hear a lot of mid-70s to mid-80s pop music.
Which is their style.
Stuff.
They have that electro-pop kind of vibe to them. Yeah.
There's definitely some Meatloaf
Ziggy
influence.
Stardust.
There's some David Bowie for sure, especially on the first album, but even more on this one. There's some Fleetwood Mac influence.
Ooh, nice.
There's some Betty Davis as that song. You can hear that on there. And so I'm just like, okay, the bad thing about knowing so much about pop music is that I can pick up all of what they're trying to
their influences.
emulate.
Yeah.
So it kind of throws it off, but still, I'd probably give it there was 17 tracks on the bonus.
Well, I gave you the special edition.
Yeah. So 2 of the tracks were just remastered.
Yeah.
So I can cut those out. And then there was like 3 bonus tracks.
B-sides?
Yeah,
Okay.
which they were all right for the B-sides. So I really just focused
Now you
on
know
the
why there
12,
were B-sides. Yeah.
the 12 albums. And
Okay, so out of 12.
Out of 12, I give it a 9 out of 12.
9 out of 12.
I was
That's an impressive
very,
score.
very impressed by that.
Awesome.
album, so
Maybe I'll check it out then. Maybe I'll buy it for myself.
I think you should.
Awesome. Awesome. So you got a band that's actually close to my heart. I wrote off because of their second full-length album.
Imperial.
Imperial, yes. And so you want to talk about In Fear and Faith.
Fear and Faith.
With their new album, In Fear and Faith.
The self-titled album.
Yes.
Now, this one took me a little while to like digest and
Okay.
put through my filters.
Well, let's talk a little bit about your history with In Fear and Faith. I mean, we got the first EP, Voyage, which was their
Yes.
first lead singer.
I don't remember what year these are
That
from.
was 2007.
Okay.
And in 2008 was their first full-length,
Your World on Fire.
Your World on Fire, which is
I
a
really like.
fantastic album.
Yes.
It has a great cover of Gangster's Paradise. And you guys should check that out because it's really good. And
It's interesting. Yes.
I'm not saying that ironically. That's a really good cover of Gangster's Paradise.
And even the first EP I enjoyed.
Yes, I like that first EP too. It
And
has
on-
some recycled songs into
Yeah,
their
yeah,
first
couple of-
full length, and then they had their second full length in 2010, I believe, called Imperial.
Okay.
Which
Yes.
just sounded so lazy and
That one I
boring
struggled
and
with a
poorly
lot.
produced, and I can't pick out any song in there that I like at all.
Yes, it just makes me think of like something Star Wars related.
Yeah,
the
it
Imperial
does.
Death Star.
And then
what was it? Symphonies E EP.
yes, so that was their last album with their screamer. So they released a little EP called Symphonies, which is piano ballads of their more popular songs from all of their releases. And they brought back some special guests to come do the screaming, and they brought back the first singer to do the screaming on one of their older songs, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I kind of just skipped over that album completely
Yeah.
because it was
It's pretty
kinda,
good.
It was just
It's-
recycled songs.
It's pretty good if you're a big fan of the album. So now they have their full length, their third full length, which I personally enjoyed a lot.
I would give it a 10 out of 12.
10 out of 12 for you? Oh,
Definitely.
nice.
Definitely.
Really
But like I
solid.
said, it took a while to get through my filter because like after 3 listens, I think, I was like, I'm not digging this
Yeah.
at all. And then all of a sudden, just in the last
It
2
just
days,
clicked. Yeah.
it clicked. I had to get over the fact that it really sounded like Pierce the Veil.
Yeah, the singing style has definitely changed. I
I was
know if
wondering
that's
because I don't
of
remember
the-
hearing that singing style on previous albums.
Yeah, it's not a new singer. It's the same
Yeah.
singer, but
I had to look that
it's probably the production that probably made it sound like that. Yeah, so I mean, I'm glad that they came up with a great new album because the second one, I was looking forward to it because I'm such a big fan of their previous releases. Sorry about that, but and I was just worried that they're just gonna just fall into mediocrity and then
True. I was as well. And I mean, it's not like this album is doing that well. There wasn't even much mention on their Wikipedia page about it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, they said they're going to release an album. Then they released an album. So
And
they
then it
did
came
that.
out.
Yeah. There was nothing about like the hype, like when you read other Wikipedia
Yeah.
pages. So anyway.
yeah. So maybe the height of the popularity has since passed, but I'm glad they're still trying to make new music and it's still sounding good.
And I couldn't even find a review on Absolute Punk. I found 2 reviews on Amazon for it.
Yes.
And one was a 5-star and one was a 2-star.
Sometimes Absolute Punk is late with their reviews.
Okay.
Sometimes,
I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, I couldn't find anybody else that was actually listening to it besides you and me.
Yeah.
But hopefully our legions of fans on the podcast will
Yes.
give it a listen now.
If you guys are fans of music like the first one, The Fallen, then you guys probably really dig In Fear and Faith. I would definitely recommend their newest album. Check out that one first.
And there's
then,
like 7 straight tracks of this hard rock metal stuff.
oh yeah,
And then all of a sudden, track 8, there's this 4-minute
yes,
piano solo instrumental, which is absolutely awesome.
it's really good.
like the keyboard player he's been there since the beginning, right?
yes, but I think also the lead singer does a lot of keyboard. He writes a lot of keyboard
okay.
parts.
I wasn't sure if it was like just a keyboard player or if it was the
They
singer
do.
playing
I
the keyboard.
think they have the
or-
keyboard player, and he's just kind of there. He helps write the process in the writing process, but he's mainly there for a live show.
And that was just, I mean, 4 minutes. Who just throws an instrumental keyboard track into
Yeah.
like a hardcore album?
Really good. It really breaks up the album perfectly too.
So perfect.
It's
It would
just like-
make
it's-
it would make Yanni cry.
Yeah.
That's what I felt when I listened to
It
it.
reminds me of Define the Great Line, where you got like those breaks,
Ah.
those instrumental breaks, and you got that one like Russian chanting
Yes.
sound in there. It's someone like reading in tongues or something.
Yes,
It was
it's
really-
all in Latin.
Yeah, it's Latin.
I think it's
that's what
Latin.
it was, yeah.
Where I was when I was listening to that album, and it was one of those, is this creative or pretentious? Eventually it became creative, yes.
Pretentious at first, yeah. All
After
right, so
20 listens.
So what are you listening to now that you're probably going to give us a review of?
This week
soon?
is going to be new Dave Matthews Band.
Okay.
And probably either Day and Age by the Killers, since I need to listen to that album next, or new Mumford & Sons.
Okay. I love the new Mumford & Sons.
Okay.
Spoiler alert.
I really need to...
But it's one of those bands that like kind of it's a acquired taste, I think.
I really like the first album.
Okay, good. Then you'll probably like the second one.
As we drove around the entire country, Mumford & Sons followed us.
Yes, and you'll probably like the second one, though. Yeah. It's very much hipster trash.
I was really worried that they rushed the second album because, I mean, they released the first one not that long ago.
Oh, yeah.
It was like 2011, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So usually when that happens, it feels a little rushed.
Pretentious music isn't hard to make, I guess.
And the two songs I heard them play on SNL, I wasn't too impressed by. But it was just first time listening through.
Yeah.
I need to give them some more listens.
All right, awesome. Well, and for you guys out there, I know we might be talking about bands you may have never heard of, but check out the 2 new songs by My Chemical Romance from their Conventional Weapons album. Check them out. I'll put them in the link below. How about that? Under Adam's.
As long as the Warner Group is not filing a lawsuit against YouTube.
I'll find a steady stream for them, and you guys can check them out below. So final words. So thank you guys so much for checking out this week's show. Sorry about last week. He who will not be named was
Blake.
Yeah, Blake.
Blake stole our microphones and got away. Luckily, we were able to track him down.
We shouldn't have that
Blake's
problem
a guy
anymore.
now.
Yeah, we shouldn't have that problem in the future. So thanks for checking out this show this week. Please join us again next week when we will once again be cutting through the fat of the news stories of the day, of the week, actually. From my friend Adam, I am your co-host Mike, and reach for the skis.
Why not?
Yeah, you got to come up with some sort of tagline or something at the end after that little rigmarole.
We still haven't come up with one.
I don't
17
know.
episodes.
Hey, comment below, audience. Give us a tagline. Interact anyway. Call us idiots. I don't care. I like interaction. I like you make our penises bigger by interacting with the show.
Dislike us on YouTube.
Yeah, why not?
Please do.
We don't have any traffic on YouTube anymore anyway.
I know. We had 9 listens.
Yeah. We'll see you guys next week. Catch you guys later.